You condemn anti-Semitism?
I did. I do every day.
Why didn't you vote for the bill that would condemn anti-Semitism?
Anti-Semitism every day.
But why
every single day.
Why didn't you vote for the resolution that condemned anti-Semitism on college campuses?
Because I didn't agree with the resolution, but I've condemned anti-Semitism a million times, and we're fighting to end anti-Semitism in a real way and fighting to end hate in all its forms.
Why can't you condemn anti-Semitism on college campuses?
I've condemned anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and hate in all its forms repeatedly.
Why didn't you vote for the resolution?
Vote for it, would you? Great job, Hillary.
A look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
Announced that its word of the year is gaslighting. Gaslighting, if you don't know, is a word my ex made up to magically win arguments that she was losing.
I want to talk about how Fox lies.
Doctors are saying that they have a hard time convincing their black patients to agree to take the COVID vaccine. Well, maybe they should try telling them it makes you immune from paying child support.
Now, obviously, there's many examples of them just straight out making shit up.
I want to switch it up a little. Shay didn't write this one. This is all me.
I'd like to hear this.
Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day.
The American Recovery Act that he passed last year and the attempt to pass BBB, the Build Back Better plan, I think have added to the deficit.
Of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up.
Back in June of 2021, he started talking about his bipartisan infrastructure deal. There's nothing bipartisan about it. If it was bipartisan, it would have been passed by now.
Many examples of how they lie.
Biden now has the final word on what you should do if someone is protesting peacefully. Biden, the same guy who in the summer of 2020 decided that he would allow people to burn down, streets and businesses and create all kinds of problems.
Oh, God. It was announced that Creed singer Scott Stapp will play Frank Sinatra in an upcoming movie. But the good news is Sammy Davis Jr. will be played by Scarlett Johansson.
But sometimes they have to create a narrative. And you got to get that on film. You got to show a thing so that people see it. Now, when it comes to Joe Biden, he's a virtual smorgasbord of opportunities.
A poison is running through our democracy and parts of the extreme press. Truth buried by lies, and lies living on as truth. Lies told for profit and power. Lies of conspiracy and malice, repeated over and over again, designed to generate a cycle of anger, hate, and even violence. MSNBC owned by NBC Universal. Fox News owned by Dominion Voting Systems. Last year, your favorite Fox News reporters were able to attend because they were fully vaccinated and boosted. This year, with that $787 million settlement, they're here because they couldn't say no to a free meal. And hell, I'd call Fox honest, fair, and truthful, but then I could be sued for defamation.
But that's not what Fox does. Because if you actually watch a clip, you'll see that the little gaffes are often just how Fox chopped it.
Satchel Paige is one of the greatest players ever to come out of what are known as the Negro Leagues. That's what the all-black league during segregation. And this is the unedited version of how President Biden referred to him.
I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro at the time pitcher in the Negro Leagues, went on to become a great pitcher in the pros, into the Major League Baseball after Jackie Robinson. His name was Satchel Paige.
Now, Biden stumbles a little, but it's clear what he's saying. Listen again.
I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro at the time pitcher in the Negro Leagues, went on to become a great pitcher in the pros, into the Major League Baseball after Jackie Robinson. His name was Satchel Paige.
All right, so Fox News then takes that bite and they edit the context out of the middle. And I'm going to play it to you. When you listen, watch for where the hand goes. Watch for the vanishing hand. When that sound played on Fox, it sounded like this.
Facing backlash for a comment during his Veterans Day address. Listen to this.
I've adopted the attitude of the great Negro at the time pitcher. His name was Satchel Paige.
Biden's choice of words while referencing Hall of Fame pitcher Satchel Paige, landing him in hot water. The remark came while Biden was attempting to wish Secretary of State Blinken's dad a happy birthday. That birthday wish didn't go so well.
Right, yeah. Did not.
Oh, you know, he's barely holding on. They got to give him a shot in the ass every day just to keep him awake. You know, they got the people holding him up in, you know, in the White House. He's not even really in charge because the man's lost.
Some of the most brazen acts of voter fraud to date. There actually is evidence of fraud.
Sworn affidavit saying people are forging signatures.
Tampering allegations to the dead people voting.
How many dead people voted?
Interesting stories about dead people voting. Wow, amazing. What free and fair elections we all have confidence in.
A corrupt, stolen election.
The election was stolen from a president.
Catholic nun in France, who was believed to be the oldest person in the world, has died at the age of 118. Her cause of death was listed as answered prayer.
It's very important how you frame these things. You got to cut it just right. You know, because you want to make it look authentic.
Climate change panic is so overblown that it is hyperbolic and silly.
Kids have a lot of things to worry about. Climate change should not be one of them.
Now, in my videos, I have to follow certain YouTube rules where I have to actually cut something because I'm only allowed to use 15 seconds of a copyrighted thing. But you'll never find a place where I misrepresented what someone said.
I don't think that parents should trust them and inject their kids with an experimental drug.
These are, after all, experimental drugs, and they're behaving like it.
The Cleveland Clinic said that if you had COVID-19, you don't need any vaccine.
No one should get boosted. No one should get double boosted. They are a dangerous and ineffective product.
So maybe it doesn't work, and they're simply not telling you that.
The Interior has changed the name of Squaw Valley, California, because it is considered a derogatory term for Native American women. Okay, I don't understand how that name gets changed, and yet no one cares there's an entire town in New York that mocks my people.
For that matter, I get accused of it all the time. I challenge anyone who watches this video. Figure out a list for me, if you would. Please, tell me what I got wrong. Tell me in any video what I got wrong. And I'll make a video about how I got it wrong. No one's ever taken me up on the challenge because there's never actually been one. You know what? That's not true. There was one, and I corrected it in the... I put a pin in the comments, whatever the hell they call that. Corrected it immediately. And it was inconsequential.
They want you to be really afraid of climate change.
Climate change, they said, caused these fires. They didn't explain how exactly that happened.
Using the deadly tornado tragedy across the Midwest to push their far-left climate alarmism agenda.
We're not seeing any significant increase in extreme weather events affecting people's lives.
The severity has been on the decline. I think it was one of the coldest Julys we've had in some while. I don't know if that's going to really fly with climate change.
Global cooling.
Right, yeah, global cooling.
A panel studying reparations is proposing giving every black resident a one-time payment of $5 million. Well, that's a fantastic idea, said the Gucci store.
So I challenge you. See what you can find, boys. Please, give me some views. Like and subscribe. You won't find anything. Good luck.
Fox has been doing this for years in a way that is fundamentally different from other media and other even opinionated media. Now, there were those public service announcements that said, the more you know. Remember that? Well, back in 2012, this is a while back, a study showed Fox viewers were also less informed than people who literally said they consumed no news at all. Think about that. You spend your time watching something called Fox News, and you end up statistically less informed than people who don't watch the news, period.
It was reported that the Boy Scouts of America are considering filing for bankruptcy in the face of declining membership. Yeah, apparently there's some problem with their business model of hoping parents will pay adult strangers to take their children deep into the woods.
And then, of course, there's the border. Oh, my goodness, the border. And, we need to scare people because, MS-13, well, that, of course, kind of went away because it occurred to everybody that that's actually a gang of people who are in prison. So, the fuck. The border now is tied up with Hamas. See my video.
A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
Poverty, terrorism, dependence, and Democrat voters. Everybody that's coming across that border is coming in one of those categories, and the number is actually shocking. No one can really estimate the millions that have come in. Some say 6 million, some 7, some 8 million. Well, it probably is closer to 8 million when you consider all the gotaways that we really can't even estimate, and they can't give us straight numbers on that. Who knows how many gotaways we have in this country? But to put that in perspective, that is more people that have entered under the Biden administration than the individual populations of 38 U.S. states, about 13 Wyomings that we've let in to this country. How are we going to pay for these people? House these people? Feed these people? I'm not sure, but I'm guessing as long as they mail in a vote Democrat in a few years' time, I'm sure Joe Biden and pals and probably Kamala Harris, they're A-OK with that plan.
It was posted of a police officer in San Francisco pulling over a driverless car, then the car driving away after the officer saw no one was behind the wheel. Even more amazing, he still managed to shoot an unarmed black guy.
A zoo in Atlanta will allow visitors to carry firearms. So you want to try laughing at me again, monkeys?
What happened to you, man?
I'm gonna give myself a challenge. A really similar challenge. Because I guarantee Fox will be at their lies tonight. I'm going to pick a show. We'll start with the first one. Jesse. He'll be on pretty soon, I assume. And I'll give you just a couple of examples.
And we believe that, among other things, a humanitarian pause could help that effort, could facilitate it. It's one of the reasons why we're focused on it.
Don't get the words twisted. A pause is a ceasefire. A ceasefire is a pause. This White House would rather cave to the political base, it seems, because they're bleeding support from the Muslim community, giving Ilhan Omar.
Israel, they've publicly broken with the Netanyahu administration and called publicly for a ceasefire that Netanyahu had to come out publicly and reject. And what good is that? Why would they do that? And of course, as you pointed out, the answer is obvious. Everybody knows they're doing it to appease their critics on the
left. Setting 12 states will have female governors, while the other 38 states will have dinner ready on time.
I'm just guessing, but I bet I can find another one.
I don't subscribe, but I do read sometimes, said that MAGA and the Christian nationalism is a bigger threat to America than Hamas could ever be. Really?
The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to Mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95?
This is how Fox does. This is how Fox will always do.
Not a chance. What he did do was announce that he'll be sending American tax dollars to countries like Mexico, Colombia, and Panama if they would pinky promise to take in some of the migrants passing through their countries and leave them there.
He has been basically working all through the night, at the equivalent of an all-nighter Eastern time. So he's probably pretty tired.
Anybody haven't spoken to... No, I ain't calling on you. I'm calling on... I said there are 5 questions. Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed. Thank you.
I'm going to bed. Well, without any context, that remark might seem like evidence the president is too old for the job. But Fox viewers had already heard from Peter Doocy the president had pulled an all-nighter. Still, after the news conference, Doocy tried to get back in line on the Fox News GOP agenda.
This is a White House that is confronted with poll after poll after poll of Americans worrying that he might be too old for a second term. And then he comes to Vietnam and announces that he is going to bed. It's unclear how that is going to ease concerns that people have back home that he might be too old for a second term.
Tensions are on the rise after North Korea launched more than 20 missiles into the ocean, and all because the Little Mermaid is black. It's not real.
We've got to somehow convince the MAGA voters that they are being lied to. I don't know how to tell you to do that. Maybe watching this video, maybe just showing them some examples. I have no idea.
With him, it was a gaggle on Air Force One. It came after a 7-hour visit. In this case, there was no teleprompter, and he appeared visibly tired and confused.
I spent an hour and a half about with 17 or 18 before some of them, and I don't know how to say this.
You know, Dagan, there's no reason, there's no, I guess, lack of understanding as to why people question him on the world stage. Because I loved some of the things he had to say on the teleprompter, but he got off and he could barely answer a question.
On the other hand, it makes for good content. Like and subscribe. And take me up on that challenge. Let's see what you got. My channel is just me with this damn iPhone. They have correspondents all over the world. Why would they have to lie? I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy. Good luck.
Can you talk about the impact of meeting the survivors and the first responders?
I mean, that's all personal. Look, I spent an hour and a half about with 17 or 18 before some of them, and I don't know how to say this. Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I spoke with them. I learned a long time ago, which you've all learned in your life as well. When someone's going through something that is beyond their comprehension, that they ever thought they'd have to go through, if they see someone who they think understands or maybe been through something not the same but similar, it gives them some sense of hope. And I always get criticized sometimes by my staff because when I go to these events, I stay for 3 and 4 hours and answer all their questions. But it matters. It matters a lot. And look, I'm talking, some of you have gone through a hell of a lot more than I've gone through, and a lot more than other people have gone through, and you understand. So it's just people are looking for just something to grab, something that gives them some sense of hope. And that's, if I can do a little bit of that, then it's, it's worth doing. It was done for me, so.
It's there's no reason, there's no, I guess, lack of understanding as to why people question him on the world stage. Because I loved some of the things he had to say on the teleprompter, but he got off and he could barely answer a question.
Tomorrow is the New York City Marathon, or as Fox News will report it, undocumented Africans run wild in streets of New York.